How do you do? It would be a little unkind to present this picture without just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Wyatt's Metal Podcast. Thank you for tuning in at this time. We're 30 minutes late than the typical schedule, but like I said last time, I might start moving it to this time just because it works easier for me. I swear to God, as soon as I started talking, Rocket jumped up and went to his bed. Why do you hate the show? Is it because it's not called Rocket's Metal Podcast? Anyway. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to get comfortable, situated, get shit done. I had a fairly productive day already, actually. Wrote a lot for my next video, which is kind of just a rant on VIP packages being stupid. And yeah, doing more stuff, having a pretty decent time, laughing at a bunch of festival stuff going on already. Obviously, Coachella and stuff. How is everybody doing? I saw Mr. Darkmare was here. Thanks for tuning in. As you can see, I'm still leaning over. It's a lot more environment. I can like walk away now. See, like whenever I get bored. So I have so much more room for activities. But Mr. Darkmare, hello, Mr. Wyatt. Fyre Fest is over. Billy McFarland learned its lesson. Don't scam anyone again. He's an idiot to start. Second one to repeat it again. Yes, it was. He claims postponed. It was canceled. Learned his lesson. No, he absolutely did not. I think that this was more or less the plan the whole time. We'll get more into that when we really get on the subject, but for how everything was, I don't know. We'll go over that more, but I don't think Billy was too shocked that it ended up getting postponed. Let's just say. Sharon, what's up? Says so it's 12:30 now instead of 12. I'm sorry, we're on singer time. Singer shows up when he pleases. A singer is never late, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. I said that one time walking into band practice, and my guitarist did not let me live that down. Every time I showed up, like, slightly late because of anything, he was just like, oh, glad you could show up. Anakin's anger management says, I exited out of For Honor because I thought he was live. Fooled you. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Did you all see they remastered Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion? Yeah, that was shocking news yesterday. All of my gamer friends were freaking out. Apparently, they knew this remaster was going to come eventually, but huge props to that company for just dropping the game all of a sudden out of nowhere and be like, surprise, you buy it right now. That's very cool. I respect that. I actually did not play Oblivion. It was not my type of game growing up back in those days. I was very first-person shooter, racing game, very adrenaline-fueled person. Nowadays, I'm actually really like more RPGs and more story-based games. So when I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I might actually appreciate that now. But I thought that was cool that they just suddenly released it like that. I need to go to sleep, but I can't miss Wyatt Live. Well, here I am, so you can go to sleep now. You're welcome. Now, thank you for being here. Slash is my homie says, just got my mullet. I'm assuming you mean mid-day goon in for the day.
Fool this man!
No. I can't believe people at Coachella didn't know who Brian May was. I absolutely can believe that. I'm surprised that he's even there. Yeah, Coachella always has a bunch of guest celebrities show up, and one of them was Brian May for a Queen cover, and apparently nobody knew who that was. Yep. Coachella is not a music event. It hasn't been for whatever. But how did I find out the news through this? Surprise. I am the best news source for rock and metal news, apparently. What does that tell you about the sad state of journalism? Daniel says, anyone else go to AC/DC at the Rose Bowl? It was amazing. Grandpa's got skills. I had some friends go to that and post videos. It looked epic. I only saw AC/DC once in 2010, and it was amazing. I actually thought they were all right, but was never big into them growing up, and then saw them live and was totally blown away. So I'm sure it was still great, even though they're 130 years old. It just shows how good they are. Hang on. Happy Wednesday, fellow metalheads. Now Wednesday is every metalhead's favorite day of the week, just so you can hear me ramble about dumb shit. Max Power. I would go to Coachella for all the naked wizards. Fuck the bands. Not even the naked women. He said the naked wizards. All right, not the insta-hoes, the magic drug wizards. Priorities, I see. Saw this. Also, did y'all see Kerry King at Wrestlemania? I heard about it. I didn't see it. Can pull it up really quick, actually, because that would be fun. I'm assuming he plays music that I can't play for copyright reasons. Wrestlemania. I was very bummed out. I was actually supposed to be in Vegas during during WrestleMania. Not for WrestleMania, but for a different event. But I was broke and did not make it. I guess this is, I don't need someone talking about it. I just want to see it. Oh, fuck, it's a video of someone talking about it. There we go. I'm getting to it. Don't worry. This is way cooler than Brian May showing up at Coachella.
And his opponent from New York.
It's like the no, Lemmy did that for late sometime.
At 249 pounds, Damian.
Pretty rad. All right, where we at? I thought his name was Stone Cold Goldberg. When the fuck did you change it to Kerry King? Wow. Lilith, I am shocked. She said, Wyatt, we go to Vegas and get married. Sorry, Rocket. I thought you were going to say Rocket. Wow, I didn't even see that coming. You just picked the ugly person in the back of the room. Everyone thought you were going to go for the hot popular guy. Respect. But I don't want to pay for it, sorry. Hang on. Someone asked, are you planning on attending Milwaukee Metal Fest this year? Unfortunately not. I would really like to. I do think the lineup is good. Just money is difficult at the moment, being a little more picky and choosy about festivals and concerts and stuff like that. But I recommend people go if they're interested in going. For sure. Mad Butler says, I love OG Misfits, but surprised they played at Coachella. Yeah, I'm surprised anyone there knew who they were. They probably recognized the logo because it's been copied on so many things, but they seem to have a crowd, and I don't know how. If people didn't know who Brian May were, then how did they know who the Misfits were? And I saw a video of their performance, and Danzig, as usual, on stage was going like, yeah, this is real punk rock. None of that woke bullshit. And I was like, I mean, I agree, but you're at the wrong place for that. You're at like the home of that bullshit. Coachella is essentially influencers standing in a circle stroking their egos. Yeah, it's entirely wannabe influencers trying to copy the influencers who were paid to be there. It's trash. And people charge way too much money, or don't charge. They are charged way too much money for it. It's a hilarious event that is 100% like the pinnacle of capitalist corporatism festivals that these people bitch about all the time about evil billionaires stealing money, blah, blah, blah. And then they take out loans to go to Coachella to have Bernie Sanders walk out on stage and talk about how they have to stop the billionaires. And then they have as much debt as their student loans so they could go see all these famous artists perform to backing tracks. Hopefully, out of all that, they got to try some good drugs in between time But that's it. That's all you get out of Coachella. Living Color play. That's not bad. I saw them one time opening for Anthrax at some casino, actually. It was cool. I liked it. No comment for how they were at Coachella, but man, I would not go to that shit. I've thought about it'd be hilarious to go and do like a safari filming, like a Steve Irwin thing if I went, because I wouldn't take it seriously at all. So just document and be like, and here's a wild influencer. Here's another artist not performing, but also apparently I didn't know this, that Coachella, I guess we're going to jump to that subject already, but I guess Coachella always has very pro-left artists and promoting those messages and stuff like that. Apparently it's owned by some billionaire who donates a lot to like Republican causes. That's what I heard. If that's true, that makes me like it just a little bit more. Like, fair play. Just ripping off everybody. Coachella is the Burning Man of music festivals, and Burning Man is another thing that's pretty much trash too. Is that what you call a modern hippie festival? Coachella tries to be. It's like, rich suburban hippies. If you drink for everyone you see with a tripod, you might get alcohol poisoning. That's in line. That's before you even get to see any of the actual, is it festival? Is it more of a corporate product? We got some Coachella stuff here. We got some videos to react to. I thought would be good. Here will be first one. Let me go to it. We got Rock Feed talking about the Coachella insane prices of festivals that I was just going on about.
As concert ticket prices continue to soar and fans feel like concert affordability
Top-notch YouTube content reacting to others' content
is out of reach, there's a new report out from Billboard that details just how bad things have gotten, and this is really, unfortunately, a dire statistic. Now, this weekend you have Coachella taking place. We've seen a lot of festivals having hardship, numerous cancellations of festivals, like that shocking announcement from Sick New World. Even though they had Metallica and Linkin Park, two massive bands headlining, they still announced that that festival is going to be canceled. We also had that big announcement from Linkin Park that they were downgrading in their hometown from Dodger
Yeah, that was funny.
Stadium to a smaller arena, but the Dodger Stadium show was like 56,000 people. Now, don't get me wrong, Linkin Park is still a massive, legendary band, and they are doing very well, and their music is getting a lot of streams and all of that. But I think this is a sign of the times. In a very, very constrained economy, a lot of tours just are not selling well right now, which is very unfortunate to see. When you open up these apps and you look at those ticket prices and you get sticker shock, almost like you're looking to buy a car or pay a mortgage or something.
Yeah. That's something I definitely want to make a video on, just how the outrageous bullshit of ticket prices.
That is just unfortunately going to drive down the number of people who want to see concerts. This is one of my favorite things to do on planet Earth, so it genuinely bums me out.
I remember when a concert ticket being $100 was like, shit, that's a lot. Now that's minimum for nosebleeds.
When I talk to people and they're like, yeah, it's hard to go to as many shows as I used to go to. So this new report from Billboard makes a startling revelation that more than half of the people who will be attending Coachella this weekend will be doing so, over half, using a payment plan to.
Without looking at any charts or statistics at all, I would bet it's closer to 3/4 of the people who went were on some type of payment plan. Whether through one that Coachella offered or through their credit cards.
afford the tickets to the festivals. Here's what they had to say. According to Billboard, they said tens of thousands of music fans will descend on the California desert this weekend for the first of two iterations of the.
You know what's crazy to me is that this festival is in Palm Springs. I've been to that area. I used to have a job where I had to go out there, and in the summer, it feels like you're in a fucking radiation zone, like from Fallout. It is insanely. I would have to run from an air-conditioned car into a building to not die immediately. It's a strange place to put a bunch of rich influencers who are completely out of touch.
The Coachella Music and Arts Festival outside of Palm Springs, California. Now, this festival is not cheap by any stretch, but it's in line with what you would see with a lot of costs of similar festivals. They said 80,000 to 100,000 fans each.
Someone commented, I can't even conceive it. I went to the free Ozfest festival and it seemed to be making tons of cash. Well, if I could read, that would be nice. I mean, compared to the markup on merch tickets, probably don't pay for squat any ho. That free Ozfest, I think, was my first metal festival. 2007 Ozfest for free. That was a different time. There were still some CD stores back then. And those were starting to take some serious hits in business too. But I remember because to get that free Ozfest ticket, I think you had to buy Ozzy's latest CD. So that was the time when CDs were a thing.
Each weekend will have copped up the $599 ticket price to see headliners Lady Gaga, Travis Scott, Green Day, and Post Malone. Now, when you go to a festival, it's not just the money that you're going to spend.
Those are the poor people tickets.
Over the course of a weekend, like concert tickets, it's also the amount of money that you're going to spend on concessions, on merchandise, on experiences on the festival grounds, on upgrades, on signings, whatever that may be.
And all of those things that he just listed, which are very true, because that's one reason I've had to cut back on concerts and festivals a bit, is you get in the head, oh, the ticket is this price, so it's not bad. And you're like, oh, it's flight, hotel, everything involved, parking, largely parking and food and crap like that. And then if you're going and paying for all of that, and you're partying, and you're drinking and doing whatever, and your logic has decreased, you start paying even more for shit.
There's so many things on these festival grounds that are monetizable, but they say many of those fans will spend more than $1,000 per weekend on lodging and cough up hundreds of dollars more for food, drinks, and merchandise. Now, with the economy in the shape that it's currently in, this statistic is very troubling. It says approximately 60% of general admission ticket buyers at this year's festival opted to use Coachella's payment plan system, which requires as little as $49.99 upfront for tickets to the annual concert. But
that's ridiculous.
Say this isn't something that's just unique to Coachella. They say the Desert Festival isn't alone. Lollapalooza, Electric Daisy Carnival, and Rolling Loud all sell the majority of their tickets using some kind of.
Also another one to mention too is metal does the same thing. All festivals do. The Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, for the one last year, I did buy the ticket early on with a payment plan, and it was like however much a month until it's paid off. It went on for like 12 or 13 months. I remember a long time afterward being like, God damn, this is still going.
A payment plan system. And this is actually changing the way that festivals are marketed, with the primary pitch now not just being about how great the event is, it's about how they're going to make it affordable for you or feasible for you to attend. The story says one source who asked to remain anonymous because they weren't authorized to speak to the media told Billboard that payment plans have fundamentally changed how festivals are marketed to the public. Festivals are now marketed as a cheap down payment as their main call to action. The messaging is $20 down gets you in the door, or $50 down gets you started. It's no longer about the artist or the festival lifestyle. The message is, you can afford this if you act today. Now,
and then you put on top of the pressure of like a countdown, it's selling out. Oh, we got to get a ticket, or it will jump up more.
Now, a lot of these fans aren't just going to one festival. It says the same source told Billboard it's not uncommon for some fans to have 4 or 5 different festival payment plans hitting their account at one time. Typically, fans pay as little as $19.99 to get started on a payment plan that's extended over a period of.
And then it's like $50 a month. So if you have 4 festivals at $50 a month, you're getting charged $200 every single month for a year or more. Jeez,
Several months. Now, while the economic times have gotten harder and the ticket prices have gone up, one festival promoter told Billboard that this process is now an essential way to be able to afford to even have these festivals going on. Without that, they said that it would suffer tremendously. They called the payment plans a critical link between fan affordability and generating the revenue needed to finance a modern multi-day festival. This promoter estimated that 65 to 70% of his festival attendees use payment plans to pay for their tickets, and add the entire system is built upon trust that we will deliver the experience we promised, and trust that our fans will make their payments on time. Now, here's what happened.
I would assume that's why Sick New World ended up canceling, because they saw that they didn't get enough of payment plans ahead of time.
If the fans don't actually pay for the tickets in full before the event. The report says if Coachella attendees miss their scheduled payments, typically the attempts to debit their account is declined for insufficient funds or having an expired credit card. They're given 10 days to bring the account current. If the 10th day passes and the payment is not received, then the order is canceled and the fan is issued a credit that can be used towards next year's festival. So there are a few take.
Okay, yeah, so was mainly on that for the Coachella part, how much people spend on the ticket. But let me find, I had an article here. Oh yeah, I got a couple of quick things to bring up too. What the fuck? Oh, the thing switched around. This will be very fun to laugh at, actually. This guy put together, I guess, a compilation of people's horror videos from Coachella. Rich people being like, oh my God, I have to sleep outside. Hang on. Where am I? And as someone who has been to many metal festivals, it's a very fun comparison. Let's just say that. But hang on, let me catch up on comments here really quick. Got Russell says Nam was supposed to die, and then all the music tubers showed up and bitched about Neural bagging it, and lo and behold, Neural showed up next time. I don't know what that second part means, but Nam is a funny thing. I grew up really wanting to go just because I wasn't able to, wasn't a musician or in the industry at all at the time. And then this last year, I finally did get to go. And I was like, oh, sweet, I'll get to go check it out. And sorry, it was cool. It was definitely neat to experience. But as someone who's not gear or like technically savvy, that I'm a vocalist, I just shout noises. One day was more than enough for me. And I just don't see myself like constantly going back and looking forward and getting hyped to it. Like, it was neat. It was cool. Not super my thing, actually. But I was watching Nick Nocturnal did an interview with Tank the Tech, and they were both talking about NAMM a little bit and saying how it kind of turned into a lot of pretentious influencers just trying to like have credit for being there. I could kind of see that. Hang on. Yeah. Really quick. Saw on Reddit that people were upset and complaining that the Royal Caribbean cruise got rerouted from Haiti. First of all, why would they be upset over that? But yeah, Royal Caribbean very predictably has currently stopped trips to Haiti, which is where 70,000 tons of metal was planning on going, which I made fun of in my video. And lo and behold, with the amazing superpower of eyes and paying attention, I was able to predict that would happen. So where's 70K going? We don't know. No idea. I bet they announced it probably like 4 days before the cruise, or maybe on the cruise. I actually think that would be kind of fun to get on 70,000 tons of metal with it out without it saying a destination. One day you wake up and we're like, and we're here. Oh shit, we're in Cuba. If everyone did payment plans, then festivals can't recoup and profit in time. Yeah, so they'd have to basically show how many payment plans have been sold, show that to investors, and count on their money to keep it going until all of those are paid off. What a dumb fuckery of corporate bullshit. I was thinking this before I jumped on here. We need a doge of concerts. Fucking destroy Ticketmaster, all of them. When I'm president, I'm going to send everyone who works for Ticketmaster to El Salvador. Lilith says her and Rocket are going to Coachella next year. Why would you do that to him? That counts as animal abuse. To go and sit through that bullshit. How terrible of you. I'm definitely not going to marry you if you're going to abuse my son that way. Did you do the VIP package ripoff portion yet? Not yet, no. We were making fun of Coachella. But we will get to that for sure. But let's go through this, guys. Apparently, the line to get into the parking lot at Coachella was like 12 hours long. Which, when I heard that for the Blue Ridge people, I was like, that's horrible. When I heard that for Coachella, I was like, nah.
So we're on hour 8 of being in line for the Coachella camping.
Good.
Have you been waiting for the opportunity to spend thousands of dollars to cosplay homelessness in the desert for 4 nights?
Nope.
Would you wait in a hellscape of traffic for 12 hours for the honor of being able to sleep in your car? And
Honestly, it depends on the situation, but
more importantly, would you pay $1,000 for a parking spot so that way you could do the aforementioned sleeping in the car?
big fucking no. All of these people, listen to this shit. This was insane. Parking passes, which should be fucking free. Every festival should have free parking passes.
How much did Isabel Wallace spend on this car camping pass for Coachella?
At least lie to us and say, like, we're not charging for parking anymore. Ticket price went up $20. Fine.
Size of my head, like, this little thing is usually $375 for.
She just said parking passes for Coachella are normally $375. And she's upset because it was obviously more than that this time. Keep in mind, everyone who's about to bitch about it paid it.
For the preferred pass. I had to do a payment plan for this shit. $1,028.
A payment plan for the parking pass.
Oh my God!
Well,
You paid it. Why are you crying? You paid it.
if you answered yes to any of those questions, then I have the music festival for you. Coachella, where Anne Hathaway met her fake boy band boyfriend in that one Amazon age gap romance. Coachella, named after the Coachella Valley that it takes place in, a yearly opportunity for influencers and celebrities to take private jets paid for by brands for a 25-minute spin from LA to Indio, California, to engage in a weekend of fit checks, exclusive parties, and
That was AI. That bitch's tits were not real. Wait, go back.
weekend of fit check.
Bro, this is fake. This is totally a filter here. Come on.
exclusive parties, and gorgeous Airbnbs with a
But yeah, Jesus, that's a fucking demonic
side of
but yeah, for those who are unaware, the rich people who attend Coachella get invited to show off to make people want to be like them, who will pay $1,000 for a fucking parking pass. When parking is more than $20, I'm already like,
of music mixed in there somewhere. But if you're a normie, you're going to be paying $600 minimum for a general admission and hauling your grandfather's Buick out from LA for a 2-hour-long drive, arriving to what can only be described as a shit show of cars that puts even the Fast and the Furious to shame.
Oh, now you're just being ridiculous. It's just a boring parking lot. That'd be way more I would pay to attend Coachella if that was the parking lot.
And again, that parking pass ain't come cheap.
Guess how much this costs?
That they paid. Every single one of these people who complains about it, I'm like, you paid for it. You could have made the video being like, fuck that.
This is the
Where's your anti-capitalism then?
Coachella camping preferred parking pass.
Not even as big as my hand. Guess how much of this is worth?
$400. But guess how much we paid?
$800.
Why would you admit that on camera and upload it yourself? 100%. If I ever had to pay for a parking pass that was $400 or $1,000, I am going to lie about it. I'm going to be like, nah, I got it for free. They invited me. They recognized me from my channel. Let me park for free. I heard that it was $5. What? Nah, nothing. Where's the clown makeup? It's just next Coachella. I think the second weekend just happened. Fly over it in one of those planes and just drop clown paint down on all of them. It's a flex to overpay for stuff. Yeah, it is. I guess. Parking at festivals is the first mistake. Where are we at? Oh, sorry, I got it.
Listen, with all due respect to these two, and I'm not a financial advisor here, but are you really in a financial position to be paying $800 for a parking spot? I mean, this car looks like it's begging.
Actually, continue.
To be put down. There's like claw marks on the roof. I mean, was this car previously owned by Taylor Lautner? Because I know some werewolf shit when I see it. But okay, look, we're doing it.
That was a dumb joke. Sorry, dude. But yeah, if you're paying $400,000 for a parking pass, you better be in a position of wealth to where you're laughing about it, not crying about it.
For the plot, Afterpay the $600 general admission ticket, Afterpay.
How much were the fees on top of getting the parking pass?
The $800 parking spot, and let's get going. Well, I hope you didn't eat or drink anything on your drive over to the valley, because like I said, it'll take about 12 hours to get to your parking spot.
In case anybody's wondering how car camping is going at Coachella. We've been here since 2:30. It's noon and we're still not even set up. Coachella, what is going on?
We can't drink water.
Why can't you drink water? I understand being stuck in a parking lot for 12 hours sucks. Why can't you drink water? You should... If you're car camping, you should have brought at least some fucking water. Why would you get into the festival grounds knowing you're camping with no water or nothing? Because I've been stuck in some fairly decent lines to get into festivals in the car, and we had at least some like snacks and like drinks and stuff. I remember watching Mad Max on my phone one time, being stuck in line to park. Make the best of it. What they're omitting here is that they haven't been able to have water for 12 hours because they took all their acid. It has nothing to do with there actually is no line there. They're just stuck out in the
We can't go pee. They won't let us into any of the bathrooms.
Why the fuck can you?
No bathrooms except for the staff and the
You didn't bring a funnel? You're camping, you didn't bring a car funnel.
staff won't let us in. We're starving, but we don't want to eat.
Good.
Because if we eat, apparently people ahead.
If you eat, it lessens your drugs. So
Of us were shitting in the bushes, and the cops were called, so that stopped the fucking line for another half an hour because people are shitting themselves in the bushes. So we can't eat. We haven't eaten since 3. I ate 4 donuts at 3 o'clock this morning. Yeah. Sounds about right. That's it.
and whose fault is that? You did not do any preparation for coming to a major festival, lady.
I've drank 1 thing of water.
Every other festival, whenever these things happens, I'm like, this is how the festival's fucking up. This is a problem. When Coachella does it, I'm like, good. They deserve it. Spike them all. Make the car parking longer.
I haven't even finished my water. Can't finish the water. Can't do anything but sit here in the fucking...
Did you just say you can't finish your water?
Sounds about right. That's it. I've drank 1 thing of water. I haven't even finished my water. Can't finish the water.
Why not? What the fuck? Oh, hey, Tommy left a super chat. Thanks, man. Says, no thanks, I'll spend my money to support a real cause. The Godzilla campaign, the Canadian Kaiju Project. Thank you for the super chat, man. I highly appreciate it. Lilith is asking Rocket, I marry you or Wyatt? Don't be so monogamous. Yeah, Sharon accurately says, "Aw, poor rich folks." Yeah, and I will point out immediately the hypocrisy of in my Blue Ridge videos. I felt terrible for the people who experience these exact same problems. But for this situation, I quite enjoy it.
Can't do anything but sit here in the fucking... Our car is overheating. My phone has overheated twice. My camera doesn't work on my car. How am I supposed to...
Listen, guys, I'm not gonna lie here.
That is true, actually. It's hot as fuck out there.
Having to take an emergency in the bushes sounds like a non-ideal way to start your Coachella experience.
That sounds like your average music festival to me. What the fuck?
And knowing myself, if I went to this, I'd end up being the guy who ends up parking his car next to that bush and sleeping on it. We all know that there won't be any accountability for this.
Why would you park your car on top of a bush?
But making people sit in their cars for 12 hours should be criminal. It's a health disaster waiting to happen. Of course, people are going to be taking matters into their own hands in the bushes, peeing in cups, pleading for access to the bathrooms, going hungry, thirsty.
Coachella, what the hell are you doing? We have been stuck in line for nearly 10 hours.
First of all, let's get out of the way. She's pretty cute.
We showed up here for camping at 3 in the morning and got in line. It's almost 1 p.m. right now. We still haven't even gone through security, and everyone around us has been here for just the same amount of time. It's
I'm leaving at that point.
100 degrees outside. People's cars are overheating. They're running out of gas. There are no bathrooms anywhere for us to use. There's staff porta potties people are being denied access to. People who've been waiting there in their car for 10 plus hours. People have literally been using the bathroom behind.
But they're saying this is for car camping. So, like, I understand, jokes aside, being stuck in that sucks. What a stupid situation. But you don't have a whole bunch of supplies with you? If you're stuck there long enough to get out of your car and grab some of your shit, like, some of these are genuine issues that'd be a problem, and some of it's like, you didn't plan.
Bushes like animals, and they paid like over $600 to be
Bar
here.
animals.
This whole experience has been so disappointing, and it's been extremely dehumanizing. People are pissed. The news is here. People are fighting and cutting each other in line. Someone in my group got sideswept being cut in line, and another woman literally got hit by a car because she was trying to block them from cutting in front of her. This is a complete shit show. I don't know what Coachella is going to do to fix this, but it better be big.
This is why I can never go to this event unless I'm filthy rich, because I tap out about 2 hours into this parking disaster. I'm not degrading.
Yeah, just any festival, I would not.
Myself into rationing Entenim's donuts for energy. And more importantly, I'm not going to be the guy who's pushing my car through the security line because we ran out of gas 10 hours in.
People literally ran out of gas.
Or their car broke down.
Or their car broke down and they're literally out here pushing their car through the security line.
My ego could not handle the loss of aura that pushing a car in 100 degrees.
And you'd be better off just putting it in neutral earlier on and just pushing it. Having Green Day tell you how to vote is not cheap, folks. That's what I'm saying. You've watched this channel for a minute, you know my biggest problem with people is hypocrisy. And this is an event where all of these people are complaining about billionaires and capitalism, and then they wait in their car for 12 hours to take a payment plan out on a parking pass to hear Green Day talk about how bad capitalism is, and to have Bernie Sanders come out and talk about how bad capitalism is. Coachella, you get to ration your food like your granddad in World War II. That'd be a more fun experience. Alex says, I have a former classmate who went and she made very few IG stories detailing the situation, but everything looked perfect on her end. Perhaps they were very edited. I'm sure not like every single aspect of it was, as bad as they're making out to be.
Degree heat to go see Lady Gaga would require. Y'all stay safe, but that ain't me. But let's say you're a better person than me, and you make it inside and find out that your bougie preferred parking spot turns out to basically be bullshit. Because it's a free-for-all and people are just grabbing parking spots like they're toilet paper at the beginning of COVID.
So Coachella car camping is a mess this year. We've been here for like over 2 hours and we still have no clue where we're going. People are just setting up their campsites in random spots, even though that's for sure not where we're supposed to be camping at. Also up there was an accident and people were all throwing stuff at each other.
But whatever.
Nice.
You made it in. You found a parking spot, even if it's not your parking spot. You're ready to set up your campsite. What's the experience of car camping at Coachella really like? And this is where the blame for this show starts to go from being on the promoters and organizers to being a bit on the attendees.
I was blaming the attendees the entire time.
Because according to TikTok, Coachella car camping is akin to being locked in a concentration camp.
People made it look so easy. Me and my best friend are not doing well.
All right, go back.
Because according to TikTok, Coachella car camping is akin to being locked in a concentration camp.
People made it look so easy. Me and my best friend are not doing well. We waited 6.5 hours in line for security to let us in the heat. Contemplated leaving and getting a hotel room. I'm not really the nature girly, you know?
No shit.
My house stays on 68. I have some mini talkies here.
I mean, this lady is gripping those blue Takis like it's the only thing keeping her tethered to this reality. I'm going to be honest, I don't think a lot of these people understood what car camping is. It's just camping, even if it's...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get the privilege of being in your car.
To your car. With all due respect to this lady, I don't know what people made it look easy means. You are out in the desert where it's 100 degrees outside. There's wind.
I'm going to get to... Anakin's anger management therapist. Car camping isn't that bad, bro. I love car camping. I got really into videos of people who like live in their cars and make it all like custom and shit. And yeah, whenever I go camping now, I just customize my car to have like a bed, a little room and everything. Like, I have a good time car camping, but I am also not a glamping rich moron that would go to Coachella.
So dust is just flying.
I can get by sleeping in my car and eating Taco Bell
around, and it looks like the average person just brought one of those like tailgate tents to hang out under, which is not going to do well when the wind picks up and now you're getting a mouthful of sand. You have no protection from the elements, as this lady's friend found out.
Last night when she was sleeping outside, the dust was so bad, there was like a layer of dust on her face. So she put the portable shower over her bed and it worked, right?
I mean,
first of all, that's not a bad idea, but why was she sleeping outside like that in the first place? I mean, I would do that.
Fucking snakes out here. Okay, I'm not talking about the influencers. I'm talking about real...
Release the snakes!
Ass motherfucking snakes.
I have had it with these snakes on this
Coachella parking lot. Just because you're in a field.
Shower over her bed and it worked, right?
I mean, guys, we have fucking snakes out here. Okay, I'm not talking about the influencers.
To be fair, unfortunately, we only see one snake. I highly doubt, much to everyone's dismay, that they released a bunch of poisonous snakes on the Coachella-ers.
I'm talking about real ass motherfucking snakes.
I'd pay extra for that.
I have had it with these snakes on this
Coachella parking lot. Just because you're in a field with thousands of other people doesn't mean that the rules of camping safely do not still apply. Set up an actual tent, stay hydrated, and if you're not comfortable with being a little uncomfortable, camping might not be for you. I mean, some of these influencers are framing their TikToks like they're in the trenches of World War I.
To bed. This is how I set up my space.
It looks totally, like, way better than anything I've done.
And I'm gonna close this. Anyway.
I hate all these people.
But hey, if you got a little more money to spend, the next step up from car camping is paying $300 to stay at the Coachella Glory Hole Hotel.
What the fuck? This is where Diddy would stay when he would perform at Coachella.
And again, folks, if you ever find yourself staying at a hotel that has a Rainforest Cafe themed Freak Factory included, then your commitment to attending this music festival might have gone too far. But back to our working class car camping comrades, make sure you get up early on day one, because at 8 a.m. the line to take a shower will be an hour, maybe two, and you'll have to be covering your mouth in order to protect yourself from the constant flow of dust. Okay, I think that
sounds like most festivals.
Narrative I've spun here has run its course. The point is, at the low end of Coachella this year, some people are not having fun. I mean, you've got people giving quotes to the news, comparing the experience to Fyre Festival. Clearly,
that's insane.
The organizers goof something here, especially around the parking situation, because 12 hours to park your car is crazy. Truly, there is nothing more American.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that it sounds such like bullshit the way it's organized with those problems happening. Until you find out if it's true that the organizer, the owner, is a billionaire who who pays for a lot of conservative causes while hiring a bunch of leftist causes, then it becomes kind of funny and understandable.
American than ordering DoorDash Dunkin' Donuts while waiting in line for 12.
That is funny. I like that.
12 hours in traffic. So respect to these folks. But parking situation aside, is anyone not surprised by the state of this thing? It's 650,000 people descending on the desert, most of whom have probably never been camping in their lives. There are going to be logistical challenges, and in the vaguest sense of the word, hardships. To the extent that you could call taking a prison shower or paying $90 for a tray of wings a hardship. I think this thing is just like going to Disneyland, right? For some, it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And for others, it's going to feel like the equivalent of getting robbed in broad daylight. I've never been to Coachella, so I really don't know if it's truly worse than it ever has been, or if this is another symptom of social media amplifying everything that's negative. Especially with everyone who are seeing these TikToks, commenting, "Thank you for curing my FOMO. Coachella looks horrible," or some version of that sentiment. But like I keep telling you guys, this is why I stay over on Rich Talk. I do not want to see all these losers getting heat stroke on my FYP. This is why when I rewatch the Titanic, I'm always skipping the scenes with Jack. I am not trying to see what's going down in third class. And we all know his broke ass
That was a good joke.
Dies at the end anyway, so it's a complete waste of my time. I'll go to Coachella, but best believe I'm going to be moving like my New Jersey queen, Alex Earl. I'm trying to be sitting poolside at the Guess Jeans house and being driven around by golf cart like I'm the Pope. At a bare minimum, I'm trying to be with the middle class at the Safari Campground, which starts at $10,000 for what can only be described as a moderately gentrified tent experience.
That looks dumb. 10 G's to sleep in that.
Paid $11,000 for hours for the weekend. We got the room with one single bed. We have a fridge right here where we store drinks and stuff like that. They gave us this little table right here. We did some decorations from stuff we got on AliExpress.
But this is as low as I'm willing to go. 10 bands.
Yeah, people commenting are correct in saying that this is largely people who like don't normally go camping. So staying in a large tent that can fit 100 people that has its own refrigerator and laundromat is going to seem horrible to them.
For an air-conditioned tent, all of a sudden $1,000 for car camping doesn't seem that bad. And it's come to my attention that people, as always, are mad about the brands who are flying out influencers and paying exorbitant prices to house them in mansions. And to those people I say sorry, but I can't hear you over the sound of the private jet taking off with the Erwan Harris on board, who's taking time off from hawking us $19 strawberries to show my broke ass her all-expense-paid trip to Coachella.
I would have shortened his joke by just saying, "Sorry, I can't hear you over your poor noises."
This always makes this experience so seamless.
See, writing a joke, sometimes a lot of people just go on way too long when you could just quickly get it.
And so much fun. We were so spoiled that we got to fly private to the desert, which was only about a 25-minute flight. They gave us the most amazing breakfast, Pops bagels with
Yeah, that's not the experience that 99% of the people going to Coachella. So these idiots see these TikTok reels of these people who were, all of this shit was paid for so they could post it, and then they jump in their car and wait 12 hours to try to mimic the experience.
caviar. This was so good.
Murdering the planet for a 25-minute flight to Coachella with bagels with caviar served on board. I mean, who among you is not ready to buy some Guess jeans right now? Does this influencer marketing even work anymore, or does it just piss the pores off?
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of at the point where, like, if you fall for that stuff, you deserve it. Fyre Fest 2 is great because if anyone who goes to it deserves it.
I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know, but it seems a little crazy to me. But I do know this. After seeing how the other side is living, these influencers are doing...
She putting oat milk in her Coca-Cola? The fuck?
Doing it right. Why are you hating on them? They might be the only rational people at this festival. They are getting paid to be there. They're networking. They're living large. While on the clock, they're not paying $30 for a burrito that they're...
He is correct.
You're going to have to shit out an hour later in a bush before returning to the UN refugee camp that they're living in.
Refugee camp. I have never in my life, for all the festivals I've gone to, I've never stayed in a tent that big. Wait, where is it? There's AI tents.
Large. While on the clock, they're not paying $30 for a burrito that they're going to have to shit out an hour later in a bush before...
I've literally never stayed in a tent that big at a music festival. They're crying and shit. These people have not stayed in a one-person tent at Vakken in the rain and the thunder. Sir, this is just a regular tent. Special military operation, but this time it's legit. Get Putin to invade Coachella. This is how we can bring peace. Like, if you can just move the tanks from Ukraine to Coachella, everyone will be fine with that. We don't need to be paying El Salvador. We can just build walls around Coachella and just send everyone there.
Returning to the UN refugee camp that they're living in. Once again, the internet is continuously flabbergasted, shocked, dismayed even, to find out that obscene amounts of money can in fact buy you more comfortable experiences in this world. Like the split screen between the influencers over in the Capitol and all y'all over in District 12 is truly beautiful. Yeah. It's money, money, money. And money can also buy you political power, by the way, because Coachella's billionaire owner, Philip Anschutz, is an extreme conservative who has donated millions of dollars to pro-life, pro-gun, anti-LGBTQ, and climate change denialism efforts. So
I'm not saying that I like or support that guy. I'm saying that that's pretty hilarious. As I said before, for an event that all those people, as I said, are definitely anti-capitalist, anti-billionaire, falling right into the pockets of one. I may not like you, but I respect the
billionaire owner Philip Anschutz is an extreme conservative who has donated millions of dollars to pro-life, pro-gun, anti-LGBTQ, and climate change denialism efforts. So if you missed out on Coachella this year, just tell everybody it's because you're not supporting Philip Anschutz or any of his businesses, because, you know, this guy. But look.
Yeah, did you guys know that? I had no idea about that. Pretty funny. Plot twist, Boban is the festival organizer for Coachella. He wishes he had that money. Where we at?
Look, ultimately, I think this Coachella discussion comes about every year, and there's always a certain degree of people who are just hating because they can't be there, which is 100% valid, but also, has the experience actually gotten worse over the years? I think that's a more open question. I do think that it's gotten a lot more expensive, though, prohibitively so for most people. Again, I mean,
to be fair, it's not just Coachella doing it, it's every festival, every concert.
The camping isn't crazy in a vacuum, but the amount of money you're spending to do it. I mean, you're probably out $2,000 for the weekend to live in your car, and that's assuming...
Yeah, camping should be free at festivals.
Assuming that you're not flying in from outside the LA area. I'm not at a place where it's worth it to me, guys. I think it's cool to see your favorite celebrities out and about and all that, but I'm not flying across the country to spend thousands of dollars to frat flick for 4 days and ogle call me by your name.
Alex posted the correct question. Way to go. Wow, Coachella's owner is a super conservative. Then why did he allow Bernie to preach there and open for Claire? I don't know the name. That's exactly what I'm saying and laughing about. All of those people stayed in line for 12 hours. Their cars died. They took all their drugs, took out student loan debt for a parking pass, not even the ticket, to hear Bernie Sanders preach while the money's going to an ultra-conservative billionaire.
Shoving his tongue down the throat of the makeup Kardashian. The juice just ain't worth the squeeze for your boy. But prices aside, I'm sure that everyone who did go had a great time. I feel like unless it's Fyre Festival, it's pretty hard not to have a good time at an event like this. I mean, Bernie Sanders is bringing out Claro. Those are my two goats right there.
See?
Arguing with your friends about whether you're going to go see F. Cuckers or Infected Mushroom.
I will happily not go to any of that. Thank you very much.
That's what a festival is all about. But my problem is that you can get that experience at pretty much any other music festival. Like, I'm sure vast majority of people are going to Coachella for the music, but there's a certain degree of people who are just going to Coachella to say they went to Coachella. And there's nothing wrong with that, but those are probably the people who are hating themselves melting under that tarp because you weren't really committed to the bit. And don't even get me started on all these Brits entering the chat saying, oh, you lads wouldn't last a night at a British music festival. Listen, guys, this is a country that almost had an armed revolution because people had to wear a mask to go to Chili's for a couple months. This is a nation that is confounded by the idea of having to drive a manual car. And that would collapse in no more than 3 weeks if air conditioning didn't exist. We don't do inconveniences. Let us be. You guys don't have to worry about overheating in the sun because the last time you saw the sun, you could still fly to France without needing a passport. But I digress. Apparently the big brain, if you know, move.
All right, that all was retarded.
It's just to go for the second weekend of Coachella anyway, when all the influencers leave town and there's a bit less of a crowd. So if seeing Justin Bieber isn't an absolute must for you, it's probably a better idea to just wait and get a chill experience by going to weekend 2. But look, thanks for tuning in.
Or take my advice and don't fucking go at all. Yeah, that's some of the quote horror of Coachella. A lot of it is just typical festival bullshit that is annoying, and a lot of it is those people being fucking idiots and not knowing what they're getting into. This guy is a dork. Yeah, but I thought he had some good coverage there. As pricey as 70K is, you get excellent value from it. You know, you get way better value for 70K with their prices now than you would for some bullshit like Coachella, for sure. Yeah, even with the prices for 70 still going up and everything, I definitely agree with you. And you get the mystery of not knowing where you're going. Did you get to the VIP portion yet? Nope, we can start jumping to that pretty much. Why would you go just to see Justin Bieber out and about enjoying the thing like everyone else? He's not even performing. He's like, there he is! There he is! It's Diddy's butt buddy. Everyone in chat is trying to force me to get married. I'm trying to do a show and entertain everyone. The fans come first. Right, let me make sure I didn't have anything else to get over about that. I don't think so. But yeah, that was the hilarity of the idiots out in the Coachella Valley. I would feel bad about the parking prices, except for the fact that they all paid them. So shut up. That rich billionaire's laughing his ass off. Oh my god! You son of a bitch! Ew! I'm not even gonna sing that. It's terrible. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Alex says, I don't have Coachella FOMO because I'm a rational, normal person and because I like heavy metal. I already go to more than 10 shows per year and they're full of actual music lovers and not social media influencers and rich kids. Yeah. Yeah, that whole situation. Ugh. Everything about Coachella is disgusting. For like two bands that I wouldn't mind seeing, Misfits and someone else probably. Where are we at? But we wanted to talk about the VIP fuckery scams. Basically. Something that I was going over lately. That's what my next video is going to be on if you didn't catch that in the beginning. Most of the time, over 90% of the time, I am not a fan or interested in VIP package deals or meet and greets at all. I'm sure many people in this chat will probably agree with me that, I mean, shit, there's lots of reasons, but hang on. Every year Coachella is 99% shit. Do I have no FOMO? I have no FOMO. Did you hear about the subtle drama between Charlie XCX and Green Day? I heard there was some type of drama. I don't know who the fuck that first person is, and I don't care about Green Day. So I literally saw a headline with their names in it and moved on. Very important PP. In my video, I'm saying that VIP stands for very impressionable peasant. Because they like to think that it means you're a very important person. If you were a very important person, you wouldn't have paid for it. You would have been invited. Very impressionable peasant works a lot better. Because you're paying a lot of money for them to kind of acknowledge you at all, really. You can't handle the truth. Whoever is buying VIP anywhere can get fucked. There were a couple of VIP situations that popped up. Everyone knows about the Gene Simmons one, where he's charging 12 grand to have the privilege of telling you to work. People saw a Tank the Text video on Baby Metal has a ridiculous one where you don't even get to meet the band. And I was just writing for my video, actually, that it's weird because on the fan side, I get it that you paid the money, you want the respect to be, treated nicely, or at least acknowledged by the person. I think a lot of people forget the artist side of it too, to where for the fan, it's a rare once in a lifetime experience to meet one of their idols. And for the band member, it is another task that's in their job that's in the way of them getting into their lunch break. And that's a shitty view of it to have, sure, but put yourself in that mind. What's your mindset when you're at work and you're right about to go to lunch and have a break and then some dumb thing pops up you don't want to do? That is unfortunately how a lot of bands do view meet and greet packages, VIP offers. There are definitely artists that are really cool. I've always heard that Alice Cooper is great to meet his fans. Similarly, Nita Strauss is very cool. If you're working with someone, or if you meet someone who's like on the rise but is still playing clubs, I think that's where you'll actually get the bang for your buck and the best opportunity, because that's usually where an artist is still grateful and not too overly busy to try to meet a couple fans really quick. But yeah, like early on, probably did like some meet and greets here and there, and I didn't like the whole you have to wait in line, you go through it really quickly, it's basically just an autograph, like, okay, hi, bye, like, move on. And like, I would rather take the chance of just actually meeting them, which obviously those chances are way lower than if you pay to meet them and you get the guarantee. And I understand having a picture with someone could mean a lot and be awesome, but this is just kind of, my video is basically going to be like, this is a lot more structured and me saying more smarter sentences and words, but it's kind of just me going off on a tangent of it. Like, it's, you pay way too much money to meet someone for a second that's not interested in meeting you, probably, most likely. And that money is largely not even going to them, going to management. Similarly, how I was laughing about all those people in line for Coachella taking out payment plans to park, and that money going to an ultra conservative billionaire in the end. It's kind of a similar funny thing to where you pay hundreds of dollars to meet your hero, and that hero isn't really interested in meeting you and doesn't want to do it and rather go do something else, and they're getting a fraction of what you paid, and management and somebody else is getting most of it. Do you know what I mean? Something stupid with Dom. Wyatt, thoughts on original Alice Cooper lineup coming back for an album? It's cool. I'll definitely listen to it. I like Alice's current lineup a lot. It's always been good, but yeah, huge, massive Alice Cooper fan. And that works well too. Yeah, I see lots of people saying they paid to meet Alice and it was a great experience. He was really nice. Actually took time for people. I met Rob Halford once and he was very cool the exact same way. There's plenty of people that are cool, but when it's just kind of mandatory, corporatized, I don't like that. I would rather meet them before or after the show or in some type of different event. Alex says, I've been to shows where as soon as the band was finished, they would come out into the crowd and try to meet people themselves, not even wrap up their gear. Yeah, that's fucking awesome if a band does that. The coolest one I ever saw was Devin Townsend performing, and at the end of his set, he took his guitar off and he stepped from the stage into the front of the crowd, and he stayed and met every single person until it was done. And that was like one of the coolest things I've seen. It depends. And I get it. I'm even saying in my video that you are meeting this person one time. They are meeting a bunch of people every day. And we all know that people are fucking weird. So they don't know if you're going to be cool or not. How are you going to be when you become as big as Metallica? I'm going to charge $1,000 to watch my videos. And they're all going to be censored. If you want the uncensored ones, those are $5,000. Coolest guys I've met were Immolation, Ross, and Bob are always hanging out with fans. Yeah, like the Napalm Death guys are definitely doing that too, hanging out in the crowd. It depends on the artist, but I feel like most of the time when it's a big structured event at like a theater or definitely an arena, that's when it starts getting into lame territory. Only a VIP thing I've ever done was $50. That was all a donation to Take Me Home, a pet shelter charity, to get a picture with Gary Holt at Aftershock. I saw that. Yeah, see, that's cool. I understand that completely. That's very different. Let's see. Eddie Trunk said the same thing about meet and greets. It's just another thing artists have to do on the way to get lunch. They genuinely don't care. Yep, usually. And like you'll get someone who's cool to fans and has a good moment and anything, but if you took out the extra money factor, most of these bands would stop doing meet and greets immediately. Okay, that clip is going in the video. Thank you for this comment. For you, the VIP meet and greet was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday. That's perfect. That's going in the video. Tool VIP is usually stupid. Tool is usually stupid. So Tool named their band that because that's how they view their fans. So if you pay that much to go to an island to get VIP to see the same set twice, that's on you. Does the Gene Simmons package come with a helmet and crayons to eat? It should. It should end with Gene Simmons just slapping you in the face and be like, you want financial advice? Don't do this. This is not financial advice, but it kind of is, isn't it? That was good. Where are we at? Does the uncensored ones come with Wyatt's forehead reveal? No. If you pay even extra on the monthly charge, you get Wyatt's forehead mods. Because I've just gotten into modding video games lately, so I'll let you do all kinds of crazy shit. Oh yeah, I had another game for you guys real quick. But let's not jump too many subjects. Gene Simmons experience, him cheating on you with another fan. Fair enough. I think for $12,000, you should be able to have Gene Simmons chew out anyone you want. Like, instead of carrying equipment, like, can I have you call my ex and just have you talk shit for like 5 minutes? Yeah, if Gene Simmons is watching this, which he definitely is, he should do a cameo where he just insults people. Would you, even if you hate Gene Simmons, part of you would want to pay for that. That would be really entertaining. Wyatt, who dares challenge Megamind? There you go. I'm sure the Puff Daddy VIP upgrades were intense back in the day. They were not optional. Oh yeah, I was talking about VIPs. Might take too long to go through all these videos. Well, maybe not. All right, let's do. I have 2 videos on meet and greets being dumb that we can react to. Trying to decide which one. We'll start with this one. This one has been up for a while, but it's a very good video. Wait, sorry. What am I doing? Fuck. So this is a YouTuber, Zach Adkins. I mentioned these videos before. He posted these a while ago and they went pretty viral, about a quite shitty VIP experience he had that if you haven't seen this video, it's pretty entertaining. Let me know if you've experienced anything similar to this. This is a great example of why I don't do meet and greets. Never meet your heroes. They end up being dicks and then you'll hate the band's music. Yep. Paid for a Bill Cosby meet and greet, but doesn't remember. That's horrible.
What's going on, guys? This is Zach Adkins, and in this video, I want to talk about why VIPs and meet and greets and stuff with your favorite artists or favorite celebrities and stuff, they're just a big freaking scam, and you just need to avoid them.
Has anyone watching this had either a really good or a really bad VIP experience? Well, there we go. Night Fox says, Guar has a pretty cool VIP experience. It's limited to just 10 people to hang out with the band. One person gets to go on stage and be executed during the performance. See, that's cool. I feel like that's a cool addition that I honestly probably wouldn't pay for, but I understand people who would want to spring for something like that. I paid $75 for a meet and greet for Lacuna Coil, only to shake hands with the band and get a free poster with the old band member and signatures from the replacements. Told Christina that something. Yeah, that sounds like pretty much every single meet and greet. Quick handshake, sign, move on, down the assembly line.
Completely. Let's get right to it. The issue that I'm having with this whole thing is that I'm noticing like a pattern with what's happening in like the VIP world, and not just because of my experiences, but with like people commenting on what, you know, I posted, but then also like just stories from previous ones that people have told me about where I'm like, well, that's kind of weird that this happened. And I'll tell you what, man, like, you know, I met Ace Frehley and I have this guitar. This is what he, you know, hand painted.
That's a great comment. Welcome to Rockville is horrible. You are on the side of the gig, a bit far, but parking for day show is free. Yeah, that's one thing I'm mentioning in my video is not just meet and greets, but lot of festivals and concerts do VIP where you don't even get to meet the band, which is ridiculous. But a lot of the times that VIP section that they bill as being so privileged and special is like either on the side of the stage where it sounds like shit and you can't see all the band members. It's neat to say you were on the side of the stage, but if you're wanting to experience the show, it's a bad spot. Or it's like in the crowd, behind the mosh pit, or like in a corner. Usually the VIP section is not in the very front. So I don't know why the fuck I've seen so many times where the VIP section was way farther back, and I would much rather just be down in the front. Rant over. Let's continue. Oh, before we do, $5 super chat from Logan. Thank you so much, man. Yes, paid $300 some for Slipknot in 22, only to get a random bag of stuff and access to their museum. Did not get to meet them. Damn. I'm assuming the bag was not worth $300. Can we get one with Ronnie Radke and he rants at you for 10 minutes? I want to make a compilation video to someone I hate that's like Gene Simmons and Ronnie Radke and like everyone together just shit talking. I would 100% pay Ronnie Radke however much money to leave like a 2-minute rant on somebody's phone. That would be funny as fuck.
Painted the guitar, which is cool. You know, but like this guitar and the VIP experience was $3,500. And this is,
that was terrible.
I just Googled it here, and this is an Epiphone Special 1 or whatever. It's $199 or $149 on Musician's Friend. Like, you know, it's $150, $200 guitar that, okay, yeah, he hand painted, and that's cool, but it's like $3,500 is a lot of money. And then you would think, you're like, okay, well, but you're not just getting the guitar, you know, you're getting the experience of getting to meet your you know, one of your favorite musicians or whoever. It doesn't have to be a musician, but it's like, then you get there and they treat you like you're an inconvenience a little bit. It's weird. It's like the weirdest phenomenon. I don't know. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like, you know, it's not like, hold on. Let's back way the hell up.
Yeah, please.
All right. First and foremost, I'm noticing this trend in a lot of, you know, I'm in the music world. So, okay, we're going to talk about music, but there's other, you know, instances too, where it's like, okay, you go and you spend $500 or $1,000 on this like VIP meet and greet or a VIP, you know, experience and whatever. And it's like, man, it's just a huge scam. Don't even waste your money anymore. Don't even give these people your money. None of them. I'm going to give you a couple of stories here. One story is a personal experience that I had where, and I hate to say this because I'm such a huge fan and I was so excited, and I'm still a huge fan, you know, of these artists that I'm going to talk about. And it just bums me out because it's like, man, I was so excited, and now I'm like, I don't want to give them any more of my money, man. It's hard. And I'm going to say exactly who it is. I'm not going to hold back on that because I think it's worth saying. And I think that not just these people that I'm calling out, it's just a personal experience. You may have another one, but the worst VIP experience I ever had wasn't even spending $3,500 on a guitar and getting treated kind of strangely. It was actually, I spent $700 on the Joe Satriani and Steve Vai VIP meet and greet.
Right off the bat, paid way too much money for that.
Photo op, whatever it was. Horrible experience. And I saw a lot of complaints about this, right? It's so expensive to do, you know, and not only that, but you don't, the tickets aren't even included in that price, you know what I mean? A lot of the times, maybe in that one it was, I can't remember, but it's like, okay, I dropped a good $700, $800 after taxes and fees and all the BS. And then, you know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm getting a little gift bag. That's cool. It's going to have pics and some stuff, a lanyard or cool. Even like a little poster card and then like something from the show. Cool. It was all supposed to be signed, it said. Nothing got signed. It was all just there. Great. Okay, whatever. I get that. I'm like, that's no big deal. You know, maybe
Someone said ghost meet and greets are notoriously shit. I 100% believe that. That does not surprise me.
Maybe they'll sign it at the, you know, the actual greeting. The other problem is I get there and it's like a VIP, right? What does VIP mean? Very important person. It means
very impressionable peasant.
I freaking paid to be here more so than somebody else who just bought the regular ticket.
Than the poors.
No shame on them, no shame on anybody. It's just saying, like, you're very important because you've decided, hey, we're going to pay a little bit more for a little bit extra, that kind of thing. And sometimes it's a lot more, and you should expect a lot more. I go and I look, and there's like 50 or so people, maybe not even that much, it's 30 or 40 people that are in the VIP. And it's like, okay. So we all get corralled into there, and then it's supposed to be this like open Q&A kind of thing. And
it's supposed to be VIP, very important person. It's like being herded into a corner.
And, you know, they come out and, you know, yeah, sure, you know, you were listening to them talk, but it's like the same stories they've told a billion times on interviews. And people are asking some of these weird questions. And like, I know they paid to be there, so that's fine if they want to ask those questions, but it's like, okay, I'm like raising my hand, keep every time and then they go off on a big tangent on someone's question forever. There was no like structure to like how long or short the questions were going to be. And then the guy comes out and he's like, all right, we're done with that, done with Q&A. And I'm like, well, like 10, 12 of us didn't even get to ask a question. And I freaking paid to be here just as much as the people that paid there and got to ask their questions. Like, and they were just like, nope, hard.
Yeah, I've heard that actually WASP meet and greets are pretty good if you want to meet Blackie Lawless in 2025 for some reason. He actually does sit down and like answer questions and hang out for a while. So that's another one I've heard is cool.
Stop, done. And then they're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done. They're like, okay, everybody stand up, get in line. We're going to start taking photos. And I'm like, okay, at least I get, you know, at least I get that, you know? So me and my buddy who went with me, like Chris, he's like, all right, here, you know, you hold my gift bag. I'll take my photo. You hand me your gift bag and then you go take your photo. So I'm like, you know, we're like figuring it out. And people are talking to each other like, oh man, I'm really excited to get to meet these guys, shake their hand, You know, you're like, fucking spent $700. Maybe they spent more. I don't know. I spent $700.
$700 for a handshake.
And we get all lined up, ready to go. And Joe Satriani and Steve Vai don't even come off the stage. They just stood on stage with their freaking hands in their pockets, like they're too good to come down. And
so yeah, that's a lot of the time what these VIP meet and greets are like. Don't even get an individual photo. Nothing, just like, here's the empty stage. Hands in pockets, chilling. People have been requesting it in the chat for a minute now, and I was waiting for the right opportunity. And I think it's pretty fair to do it now. So 3, 2, 1.
Move this man!
Wait, someone said, nah, I've been done with WASP without listening to them. Totally fair. What? Boos in the chat all around. I know you all were waiting for it. Had to wait for the right opportunity. I didn't want to be booing Zach Adkins. He's cool. He's not an issue. We're booing these shitty VIPs and shit. Yeah, I'd be so pissed off if I paid hundreds of dollars. He said $700 to get a picture with a bunch of strangers and friends. You could have just taken a picture while they were performing. It would have been literally the same thing. Sorry, catching up, making sure everything is on track. Anyway.
Talk to the people that just paid freaking $700 to meet him. And I'm like, okay, so we're not getting a photo with them. And then they're like, all right, 10 of you line up right here in front of the stage, and you're just going to get a photo in front of the stage with them in the background. They're on the stage. They don't even come down to stand with you even.
They're not even saying anything. They're just walking around. They're just like, That's what I was saying in my video. I'm spoiling the whole video now. I understand, as I explained, that for them it's a job task that's in between them and lunch, and I get that. But when someone paid hundreds of dollars just to meet you for a second, fucking force a smile. That's it.
In the middle and then 5 on each side getting to like give a thumbs up. Nothing. Not even a one-on-one 2-second photo of like, oh, look at me, I paid $700. No, nothing. They just stood on stage with their hands in their pocket like, all right, is this fucking over with? And then next 10. I was so pissed, dude. Like, I was like, are you kidding me? I could have just had somebody take a photo of me in front of the stage like that for free. I was so mad, man. And I just gave all my stuff away. I didn't want any of the VIP stuff. I was like, whatever. I mean, the show was great. I had front row seats. I'm like watching the show. The show went great. And I still love those guys. Like, I don't want that to get like misconstrued in what I'm talking about, specifically about these VIP meet and greets. I still love Steve Vai and Joe Satriani, and I would love to talk to them about it. I would love to hang out with them, and I would love to be a part of their life in some weird way. And
that's a little weird.
You know, I whatever, doesn't matter. But the point is like when you give out a VIP thing and you're sitting here charging people that amount of money, you know, I mean, that's like multiple car payments, or, you know, like some people, you know, that's their rent payment for the month, you know, and then $3,500 for a guitar, and you get back there and he's just like, all right, hurry up. You're, you know, taken into my gambling time. It's like, motherfucker.
And yeah, you know, it's not a guitar that Ace played. They just, the manager showed up like, here's the guitar, got to sign, and just hand it.
I paid $3,500 to be here. I want at least a freaking smile or something, you know. They won't even shake your hand most of the time, you know. And I got a photo with Ace, which was cool, and you know, I got the guitar. But again,
Let's play a game. What is the most ridiculous VIP thing that you would pay for? And it can be a little crazy. Like, one that comes to mind is pay $5,000 and you get to meet Snoop Dogg and smoke a blunt with him. That's a little different where you're like, okay, I'll think about that. Pay $100 and you get to take Vince Neil out to KFC for an afternoon, you know? Something like that. Mad Butler says, coolest I ever met was Rob Zombie and John Carpenter. That's cool. Haven't met Rob Zombie. I'd hope that he's cool. I bumped into John Carpenter at LAX one time when I was running to catch my flight to Milwaukee Metal Fest. Grabbed my bag, look over, and like, that's John Carpenter, and ran off to my flight. He looked exactly how you think he would. John David says, I did one VIP ticket and swore never again. We will never forget. BJ from Young Blondie, facts. Now that is a very important person. $2,500 to smoke with RVD. Who's RVD? Fuck. I feel like you're going to spell it out and then I'll understand it and feel dumb. Coolest person I ever met was shockingly Manson. We talked for a half hour after a show in Jersey, even did a key or two. That's awesome. I mean, not recommending, but that's an awesome story. That's fucking cool. Honestly, hear me out. I'm not opposed to paying 200 VIPs for barrier occasionally. I can see if you're like in the front, I mean like the pit, like the photo pit area. I can see that being more worth it because you're actually in front of the fucking show. It does feel different when you're in that space. Pay $100 to get yelled at for 5 minutes by Alyssa Wycliffe. Fair enough. $10,000 for backstage passes to Robin Williams, especially if he comes back from the dead. I think we would all very much appreciate it if you did that. We'll chip in, crowdfund that. The Ronnie Restoration Project. Oh my God. God damn. I would do the VIP experience to be the toilet for that female ska cover band singer. If you know, you know. I do know. And do we have something that fits? I'm not going to give you a boo. I don't feel like that's worth a boo. But I do feel like you need to repent. That's nasty. $500 to get stepped on by Courtney LaPonte. Damn. That's crazy. I'm gonna try to think of more funny ones.
$3,200 off this guitar. You know, it's not like it's the world's great. It's not one of his Les Pauls or some shit. And then
anyway, yeah. I do recommend checking out his channel. He has some other videos breaking down some really ridiculous VIPs that were insane that I wouldn't pay for. Another one, probably won't go through this whole video. Anyway, $900 to burn a church down with Varg. You might have to negotiate like 902 years in order to do something like that. $100 million to break shit with Fred Durst. Yes. Absolutely yes. I would pay $1,000 to spend an afternoon with Fred Durst, drinking Mountain Dew and playing Halo 3. Fuck yeah. That's the best VIP anyone's ever heard of on planet. I would pay $700, $1,000 to have dinner with the band Iron Savior, but my guest has to be orange. $350 to chill with Dark Insanity. It's far cheaper than that. Don't tell yourself anything like that. We're much cheaper people than that. Here's your chance to prove how metal you are. How much would you pay to suck Halford's balls? None. I'm super not metal. I listen to country rap only, apparently. $1,000 for Sabaton fans to take a shower. I say 5,000 collectively to have Sabaton play with actual trenches and gunfight going on. 666 to have coffee with Tom Warrior of Celtic Frost. That's not bad. That would be a good one. $20 to buy Wyatt. Okay, I'm not that cheap. Be a little more than that. Bonehead says $69K to be dipped in chocolate and have gals of Nervosa lick it off. Y'all are nasty. Maybe if Varg was in charge of the shower, that is a horrible joke. That reminds me of a really fun. Oh man, just random side rant, really quick. I found a hilarious comedian that reminded me of recently. Probably have to pull that up at some point. Yeah. 10K to drink a bottle of Jack with the ghost of Lemmy. Now that's getting understandable. You get to meet Lemmy and experience the other dimension, which comes second to meeting Lemmy, but still cool. Ari Shafir, no. This woman comedian I discovered recently, Christina Mariani. Holy fucking shit. She was on Kill Tony, and she's popped up on some other things here and there. She's still pretty small, but she says I'll definitely pull up a clip, but she seems really awkward and shy. You think she's gonna like say something and totally bomb, and she says the funniest fucking jokes ever. Now that we're on a rant about this, let me pull that up because it may not be metal, but it's fun, and we're all about that here. And it's really quick too, but. Warning, if you are easily offended, you shouldn't be watching my channel in the first fucking place. But you might get upset. And if this does offend you, just remember that nobody cares. Let's do... that was a good one. I could do her most famous one that's going around that. Hang on. Damn it, where's the actual like channel at? Talk amongst yourselves. Technical difficulties. I was... one sec. Hopefully people here like lots of comedy. Would be a bad channel for you if you don't, to be honest. Wait. Oh, come on. This could pop up easier. Where's the actual channel? Let's do... where are we at? Anyone going to Louder Than Life? Being asked in chat. Honestly, comedy shows might start replacing metal shows for me. Honestly, I do not blame you one bit. Comedy is definitely a great place to be at right now. Where am I doing? We will do... fuck it. I'm going to offend everyone.
I learned that racism is passed down generationally, so it's internalized, which makes sense. I was walking home, it was late at night, and this black guy walks towards me. And instinctively, I grab my purse, even though logically, I know he's not for sale. He did steal my wallet, though.
That clip went super viral.
I refunded someone yesterday because I didn't want to rate their pic.
Wait a second. Explain to us what you're talking about.
Well, I got a message on Instagram and they were like, oh, I'll give you $50 if you rate me. And I didn't know that it meant his penis. So first he paid me and then he sent me a picture of his penis. And so I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do this. So then I returned the $50.
But you did see the picture. Just out of curiosity, what would you have rated it? On a 1 to 100, let's do. Let's
On
do
like how it affected me.
You know what?
Yeah, that first joke. That was the first joke that I've ever shown my grandmother that I heard her recite almost word for word like a few days later. Here's a quick but a good one.
Have you had anal? Oh, yeah. Catholic or for pleasure?
Let me do one more and then we'll go on to more metal stuff. But a lot of times when I'm not looking at metal stuff, I'm looking at comedy stuff. I was going to the Comedy Store in the LA scene for a while until pretty much after COVID. It got fucking lame. But what was a good one? Fuck it, I'll do this
I
one.
feel like a Muslim superhero, right? it would be kind of like, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's another plane.
Anyway, yeah, check her out. She's fucking killing me lately. You like George Carlin? I grew up with George Carlin, dude. That was kind of the first comedian I got into. I heard him at a very early age. Too early than I should have. Yeah. Besides that, do we have anything more to cover? A couple of quick things. I'm not going to be on here too much longer. Let's do that. Oh, I forgot. I had a game for you guys. Last week, I showed you where to download a safe version of an HD version of Vice City. And then earlier, Jimmy Carr is a great comedian. I'll jump back to the comedy segment in a minute. But all thanks to this random dude on Twitter that posted the full game of the Punisher game from the early 2000s. If you haven't played this, it's violent as fuck. You can like pretty much torture people in it. It's super fun. I've been wanting to replay it for a long time. This dude randomly posted it for free. You download the files on your computer. Just straight up downloaded, it doesn't work with a controller. But if you run it through Steam, you can do an overlay that'll work. Yeah, I wanted to mention this to you guys because that's a metal as fuck game if you haven't played it. So I would post the link, but I don't know how. So if you want it, here you go. Find this on X. Anyway. Punisher is rad. Yeah, I was excited as fuck when I saw that post. Have you listened to Doug Stanhope? Oh yeah, he's good. Man, I caught the very end of when the LA comedy scene was awesome. I started going like 2019, and you would regularly see like Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Bill Burr, Jimmy Carr. I saw Martin Lawrence one time. Saw Seinfeld one time at all these places. Yeah, love comedy. Kill Tony's become my regular, like, going to bed. It's the end of the day. I have nothing else to do. I put on Kill Tony. The Ice House in Pasadena is a really good comedy theater, and the food is surprisingly good. I've never been to the Ice House. I used to go to the Improv and the Comedy Store the most. I like the Improv more, honestly. Comedy Store was cool, but Improv I thought was a better environment. Thoughts on Steve Hughes? Is he a metalhead comedian? I feel like I've heard that name before. If it's who I'm thinking of, I think it's all right. I've heard some funny stuff. If I wanted family-friendly comedy, I'd stick with Bob Saget. Thank you very much. Because you said that, I'm gonna find one more of her really funny jokes. Oh, there was a great one. Probably better if I spelled that correctly. Oh, I got it. Oh, come on, where is it? We should just turn this podcast into watching Kill Tony. Is it this one? Damn it. I promise this joke will be worth it once I find it. Pretend like I'm entertaining you right now. Damn, where is it? God. It was such a good joke. Is anyone else's YouTube search algorithm retarded? Like, I feel like the first 7 videos are what I searched, and the rest have nothing to do with what I searched at all. Let's see. God damn it. Fuck. Where is this fucking joke at? Besides that, metal stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had... Oh, there it is. Let me... All right. You know that I won't let you guys down. I've got a very family-friendly joke that was totally worth the wait.
I've been having a hard time dating. Well, at least getting laid's a little bit easier, you know. Yeah, I've been trying some pickup lines when I go out. I've been trying some pickup lines. So far, the one that's got me the most action has been no. Usually that works, but, you know, when it doesn't, I'll go home and I have to turn to the internet for some material to help me get off, you know. I'm really into shower stuff. I think shower stuff's pretty hot. But Pornhub has been getting real stingy with those Holocaust videos.
Yeah, I told you it'd be worth the wait. Yeah, that... Oh my god. Her shit fucking kills me, dude. Yeah, I'll just let everyone laugh that out in the chat for a minute. That's a really fucking good joke. So saying, she's so, like, petite and fragile, you think she's gonna say, like, some dumb woke thing that'll fall flat, and she slays. She was on a podcast with Donut Operator and Brandon Herrera, and she was killing them the whole time. If you get anything from this 2-hour-long Wyatt's Metal podcast, let's check out Christina Mariani's comedy. Damn. Besides that, is there anything else we should really talk about? We didn't really talk about Fyre Fest, did we? We just kind of briefly mentioned it. Let's do... Sorry, moving shit around. Wyatt, do you watch Unsubscribed? That's the podcast that she was on. I watch it sometimes. Not like a regular viewer, but if there's an interesting guest or interesting topic. But the one with her was fucking hilarious. What did Billy McFarland do with Fyre Fest? Now, let's get into it. Let's find out. Did you ever listen to Come Town when it was around? No, I did not. Anyway, Fyre Fest 2, to absolutely nobody's surprise, was, quote, postponed, which means canceled, because postponement implies that it will happen at some point, and it definitely won't. Fyre Fest 2 officials have now postponed the upcoming event, but issued a statement to fans stating that it's still on as they seek to work out the details for putting on the festival. It's still on. We just don't have a location or permits or artists or a date or anyone besides Billy McDumbass. According to Billy, plans are currently in the works to vet new locations and find a host destination soon. Ticket holders were advised of the change. What ticket holders? What ticket holders? There better have been no ticket holders. We're advised of the change with the upcoming event, but a statement issued also reiterated their dedication to eventually staging the festival, blah, 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 blah. As you already know, Fyre Fest 2 out of nowhere was announced, saying it would take place somewhere in Mexico. Mexico said, nada. They said, nada, gringo. And that's the extent of my Spanish knowledge. Another location, whatever. Where's... Okay, so the website initially stated, Fyre 2 Festival is postponed and will be rescheduled for a later date in the future. Shortly after, the message was updated to include that tickets were currently not available. At least it says that. Even Blue Ridge kept having tickets available after their shit. At the same time as its postponement, Fyre Festival pivots to new business that has nothing to do with a festival. What if Fyre Festival was a streaming service? That sounds fucking stupid. Why would anybody do that? That appears to now be the case, as Sean Reck, who co-founded the True Blue streaming service, has acquired some of the festival's IP, including a pair of trademarks that will allow him to launch a music streaming service utilizing the name. What a fucking stupid investment. Why would you do that? You think you'd be paying someone millions of dollars to take the Fyre Fest name away from you? Music networks are all just programming now, and I have no interest in watching people slip on bananas. What? It has nothing to do with music. I needed a big name that people would remember, even if it's attached to infamy, so that's why I bought these trademarks to start a streaming network. This man is just starting an offshore money funneling account. This isn't about festivals or hype. It's about putting the power of music discovery back in the hands of the fans. We're building something authentic and lasting. Was this the plan from the beginning? Was this some type of hype to generate for... Maybe the plan all along was a streaming service, and they're like, what's a good way to get attention again? Fyre Fest 2. Maybe. I haven't really seen anything saying that's what they did, but that's a strong possibility. The Fyre Festival streaming service doesn't necessarily impact founder Billy. Continued to attempt to stage the second one. McFarlane retains the rights to the festival and is currently looking for a new home. I mean, that's pretty much about it. So, I mean, Billy still has the rights and is in charge of it. So what the fuck is this? Just a bonus? I don't know. If you sign up for the Fyre Festival streaming service, you're probably the type of person who would pay to go wait in line at Coachella. Anyway, can you guys hear the yard work outside? I'm sorry if it's annoying. So you found my new business venture. Hello, Billy. Welcome to the chat, everyone. All together now.
Fool this man!
Come to Fyre Festival, prepare for Armageddon. That would be more fun. At least it's there on the ticket, so you know what you're getting. Where are we at? Yeah, that is the latest in metal news, I guess you could say. If you go to Coachella, you're dumb. If you pay that much for a Coachella, you're dumb. Because like a buddy of mine did go to Coachella because his girlfriend always goes, and he like doesn't give a shit. He just kind of goes and gets high and just hangs out to be there. Like fine, you know. But Coachella and fucking Fyre Fest are very stupid events you should not go to. You should go to Milwaukee Metal Fest. or Tulminator, or Rockstad, or Brutal Assault. Good events. Apparently there's going to be a new Guar album. Cool. I haven't seen Guar since the new singer. I only saw them in the Odorous days. But yeah, I believe that is it for now. Pretty much got everything. Yeah, showed you guys some great comedy. Hope you all died of laughter. Check out some of the YouTubers we watched. I get the reference. Lost interest in Guar when Odorous died. Fair enough. Oh yeah, did you hear about the drummer for Aborted? Yeah, I was gonna get to that. We were talking about other stuff. Yep. Drummer for Aborted did not learn the lesson that I always teach everyone, which is don't talk to kids. It's very easy. Having those type of problems is extremely easy to not have. It is very easy to not get kicked out of your band because you were texting a child. In case people aren't aware of that. What was I talking about? Yeah, so check out my latest video I have up. I'm working on the video right now for talking about VIPs, everything we talked about here, but structured a little bit better. That will be up soon. As usual, I'm saying that I want to do some gaming streams because since I learned how to mod games, it's amazing. I started replaying Jedi Survivor and changed it to be Darth Maul, and it has his voice. It's fucking cool. I grew up a console gamer for years. I was Xbox, and then around COVID, I switched to PlayStation. And then within the last year or two, I got into PC gaming, and now I'm like, why the fuck does anyone own a console? What a fucking stupid thing. He wanted to talk to kids that were not aborted. We never finished Brutal Legend, though. There's more fun games, and that's the problem. But, yeah, I do got to finish that, though. Still got to do that for the channel. So backed up on games that it'll take forever. PC Master Race is 100% correct. Where are we at? But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Tune in next week. We'll have more stuff going on to talk about. New video up soon. Check out Dark Insanity stuff. Yeah, anyway. I will catch you all next week. Thank you for tuning in and sticking with me, being a little bit late. And take it away.
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.